Detroit is a game that allows you to interact with the story and how different choices change your story. The opening music after Connor's first sequence goes into the use of emotion, wanting the music to have you interpret the feeling behind it and what it conveys to a player. The intro music is used to convey hope to the player and bring a feeling of freedom and life being displayed through the opening scenes of Detroit. The opening sequence of Detroit shows the dystopian future and how androids have replaced humans' jobs and how the city of Detroit has grown in its future. Our main protagonist for that sequence, Kara, is experiencing the city of Detroit through our eyes with attentiveness and curiosity, seeing the difference in lives throughout Detroit. Kara is one of the three main protagonists, with her story being shown from the very start of the game. She is an android that follows the instructions of her owner Todd. Kara is portrayed as a character that is innocent and caring, and these traits help her grow as a character and keep her story relevant to the game's main story. Her interactions with the other protagonists show a protective personality of Alice, how strongly she is protective of her almost daughter-like figure. Her relationship towards the other characters, such as Luther, is distant, as her main concern is keeping Alice safe. Luther's relationship with Kara is portrayed as a family-style relationship, with Alice seeing both Luther and Kara as the parents she could never have. Kara's main focus is to keep Alice safe, and this is shown throughout the story, with her treatment of characters such as Ralph, Jerry, and Luther under the influence of Zlatko. Kara's story also relates to Max's, with if Kara is placed in the detention centre with Luther and Alice, or at the border crossing to Canada, if the public opinion is high and nobody is sacrificed, then Kara, Luther, and Alice all survive. The playstyle from a player can decide the story of Kara, with her either being cold towards Alice or a maternal figure for Alice, giving her a family with her, and if Luther hasn't died, then also Luther acting as a caring father. Connor is a conflicted protagonist throughout Detroit's story, and judging on the player's actions can either keep Connor on the side of humanity and remain a lifeless android serving humans' purpose, or deviate from his programming and help Marcus fight for androids' freedom and rights. Connor, even if choosing to stay a machine, can build a relationship with his partner Hank, which either leads to a friendship with Hank or a feeling of disdain between them, with Connor only wanting to accomplish his mission. What did you think of Detroit and why did you enjoy it?
I thought Detroit was probably one of the best story-driven games I've played from like PlayStation. It was really just like I started playing on PlayStation, so I didn't really know what to get or what to play. But then I started with Detroit, and then I just thought it would, the story was good, the characters were excellent, and the voice acting and the narrative was well-rounded.
Is Detroit's playstyle enjoyable?
I think so, yeah. I think that there are other games that personally I do enjoy more, just because you are at the helm of the game, you are controlling everything. But even a game such as Detroit, you still get that experience that you're choosing the decisions, it's your playthrough, your playstyle, how you want to choose things. And I think it is enjoyable either way, because whilst you're watching a movie, you still get that experience that you are being them, like you actually do get to be those characters and choose how you want to manipulate them in your own way.
Out of the three main protagonists, who did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed Connor, and I know it's like just a sort of like, that's what everyone's going to pick, but I feel like his relationship with Hank, I feel like his humour and just the way he works in general, I think is probably what makes him like probably the best character of the story. And I think if there were out of all three of them, Marcus, Kara and Connor, I think I've paid more attention to Connor and cared more about his story routes rather than someone like Marcus.
Interactive movie style games, what appeals to you the most with them?
I think the thing that appealed to me the most is, due to me not seeing many games of that genre, the fact that they made a movie and the game in one was really weird but cool at the same time. And I did enjoy the fact that your outcomes affected that game, and it was just a really cool experience for me. The only other game that I'd seen before Detroit was Late Shift, and Late Shift I think was one of the most enjoyable experiences because as personally I do enjoy movies, and the fact that you could affect that movie, I thought it was just so insane. And then when I played Detroit, that type of game just really connects to you as a person. And overall, I think it's just something that everyone should play because it's just a really nice experience.
So with Detroit's heavy themes, with the signs of drug abuse and the racism towards androids, did it impact you heavily?
Of course, I wasn't as impacted, but I was still impacted by the story because as you get to play through the game, you care more about the characters, and if they're going through something like that, then you empathise with them. But for something like abuse or something like that, I didn't fully connect with it because I didn't personally go through any of that. So I feel like if someone went through all that, then that would have affected them a lot more than it did for someone like me.
2, 1. So were you impacted by Detroit's heavy themes with the signs of drug abuse and the racism towards androids?
I think whoever you are infected in some way. I know at the start, due to me not being as connected to the characters, I didn't feel impacted by that, but when you learn the characters' backstories, the way that they are just normal robots but then turn into deviants, you do gradually become more connected, and so you do feel impacted by these. The fact that at the start with Kara, she's just a robot, but then you see Todd drinking, doing all this abuse to her. Even when Kara gets abused by Todd and when he abuses his daughter, I think that people may resonate to that if they have been abused in their time, and so it allows them to feel more connected to the game. And even when later on in the game you see drug abuse, you see all the drinking that has affected the robots, I feel that it really can affect someone if they've been put into that situation. Me personally, I've not been through abuse and drugs and stuff like that, so for me, I don't really think they affected me. Someone else who has been through experiences, I think it could be really reassuring for them.
Connor's story mainly focuses on deviants and how they break through the program. The main premise behind the story is to have Connor is that our friend, deviants is a god. He's a believer that androids believe in. This belief becomes a strong point through both Marcus and Connor's story, being the main point of why the deviants follow Marcus and Connor so strongly if following deviant through. The change that Connor goes through when on board ship both symbolizes for not only his break from his program and how strongly his users change his programming was, so how he wants to help, and we realize on the leader of androids and their freedom. Connor is a more intense character with a cold personality for programming and Amanda's instructions with no conflictions to deviancy. He only goes to complete his mission and does everything and anything with no regard for or his own. Marcus is the final protagonist and goes from peaceful artist care to the leader of the deviant. Marcus' story is a straightforward one with him fighting for androids, and depending on the playstyle of your player, Marcus can go down 3 very different pathways, with other side characters from Marcus' story influence his choices, and who out of most deviants are closest to you. Marcus as a character grows being a unique model created by Kamsky himself to the other androids believing he is what they believe to be his RA9, and leading them to peace or violence. The final protagonist analysis. The main 3 protagonists all have their own branching storylines, all only ever meeting once throughout the entire story. Towards the end was their all recovering from the attack on Jericho. Connor will have an emotional moment with Kara, and then Marcus will have a talk with Connor, which will either lead to them trusting one another or not. These characters are all diverse in their own way, allowing for different playstyles and different style characters, with there being numerous ways characters can treat each other, with disdain or kindness. This is all dependable on the player's playstyle and how they are wanting to have their protagonist be, and where their morals really lie.